My name is Eyal Avatel. I work with Globally Training to help provide support and implementation of our Globally Training platform across the globe with our various partners and resellers. So it's a pleasure to work with A2K today and introduce you guys a little bit to our platform and how it works and how it can take your organization into the 21st century when it comes to e-training and BIM initiatives. So let me go ahead and share my screen. And same thing as David was saying, if you can't see my screen, please just put a little note in the chat box. I'll gladly make sure that I keep an eye on that. What we're going to do is I'm just going to quickly go through a quick agenda we can talk about. And most importantly, we definitely want to leave a little bit of time for Q&A at the end. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk a little bit about Globally Training, a bit of an overview and how it's going to help you guys, whether it's implementing your own customized training or taking some of our pre-prepared content with our Autodesk libraries and our various other libraries that we have available that we'll do a bit of an overview. We'll do a bit of a demo, which will be a pleasure to actually show you our platform in action. We'll discuss a little bit about the plugin tool, where you can actually take the training directly into the software, which is going to be a huge advantage in working on projects and saving on billable time. We'll do a little bit of an introduction to the generator and talk about how this tool is going to be available through A2K to help you create your own custom content to be able to deliver to your learners, and this could be across the globe. We'll talk a little bit about the reporting capabilities that are available for those courses that will be created, or even those ones that are pre-generated and available in the system. We'll talk about some of the upcoming developments, which we're really excited about, that will be taking our platform to the next level, and then we'll definitely open it up for Q&A. So I will ask, if you have any questions, please go ahead, put them in the question box in the bottom right, in the chat, or the questions. We'll try and keep them towards the end. So firstly, why take a look at Globally Training? Why have we partnered with A2K? Well, what we found is we've worked together to provide an incredible volume of services for customized training, making sure that we work together to provide relevant subject matter and training experts. We've created industry recognized certification. Not only that, there's robust reporting that's going to be available for you to be able to track and get visibility on the ROI for actually implementing the training with your learners, making sure that it's available real time and it's very quick. And that we also work with you guys as a training partner. So a lot of competitors out there that might be offering e-training, well, they're just going to give you a login and a code. Well, whereas with Globally Training and A2K, we work with you guys as partners. If you're going to be investing in our platform, we're going to be investing in you guys. We're going to talk a little bit later about our Get Ready, Get Set, Go implementation plan to really make sure that we customize the launch and the follow-up of the training to your organization. So one of the things that's really important that we track, just to make sure that we're hitting the ROI that we're looking for our clients and for our partners, is we take a look at Kirkpatrick's 4-level training model, and we do some surveys to find out, well, are learners actually, what level of training are they actually absorbing when they're using our platform? And what we found is there's 4 levels according to Kirkpatrick, and the most basic level is people react. They start a training and they get a reaction from it, and the majority of people will get that. But when we've been surveying our learners, what we found are the other 3 key steps that are critical. That for learning, 90% of our learners who use our platform actually increase their knowledge in the subject matter. For number 3, moving up the ladder, 96% of learners can actually put into practice what they've learned from the platform. And then as a result, the results piece, 95% of learners are actually more efficient at work as a result of the transfer learning and the reactions. So definitely a critical piece and very important to the style and methodology of the courses that we've created that I'm going to walk you guys through. So what's really exciting is not only the methodology that we've built, but also the libraries. And we're going to go into the methodology in a minute, but I wanted to highlight the different libraries that we have available to you through A2K. So First of all, the largest online Autodesk library in the world. We have multiple version years that are available, actually going all the way back to even some 2012 product, but really we focus on a little bit more 2014 all the way up through 2018 and soon to launch 2019. Now, not only Autodesk, but we have a whole host of other libraries available also in the BIM field, the AEC field. We have an Adobe library, a McNeil library, Bluebeam, Microsoft, a new leadership library, and Primavera. Now, not only do we have these preloaded content courses available, we are consistently adding new libraries, and we're also open to new suggestions and topics. So if there's something that's important for you, that's definitely something we're interested to hear about so that we can pass that on to our development team. Okay. Just give me one moment here. I'm just going to hide my docs so that we can go ahead and I can continue the presentation. Just one moment. Perfect. There we go. Okay. So we were talking a little bit about the different libraries that we have available. Here they are in depth, and you can definitely reach out to your E2K team if you'd like a copy of this presentation or a copy of the slide. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about these different courses, we also have demos available. So like we were talking about for Autodesk, not only one of the largest online Autodesk libraries in the world, but again, we have all the different version years that are available. So everything from a 2012 all the way up to a 2018. We were talking about some of the BIM courses. We've actually partnered with some BIM experts in the UK and around the world to be able to create some new BIM libraries. And we recently just launched our global BIM standards library. If you have any further questions, again, please reach out to your A2K rep, and I'm sure they'll gladly provide some further support in terms of the list that's available. So not only do we have the content that's available, this comes along with some other advantages also when you're using the Global eTraining platform. So you can do the training anywhere around the world. You can use it do the training on any device. So you literally, as long as you have a computer or a smartphone or a tablet and an internet connection, you'll be able to take your training wherever you are in the world. Also, we have a free plugin that's available, and we're going to do a little bit of a demo of the plugin a little bit later so that you'll be able to see how you can actually take the training directly into a project. So you're not in a situation where you have to do training on one screen and maybe working on a project in a separate screen. Along that, you also get access to our help desk. This is available 24 hours, 7 days a week. You'll be able to receive support if you have questions or concerns. If you're stuck in terms of a question, you can actually create a ticket with our help desk, and one of our subject matter experts will help guide you through the resolution to your question. Search tools, we have search tools built in, which I'll demo a little bit later, so you'll be able to find something very specific in regards to the training. Critically, what we've done also is we've taken advantage of the different learning styles, and what we found is using the VARK methodology, which is the V-A-R-K, different learners learn differently. So if you take a look at the way that you yourself as a learner enjoys training, you might prefer reading, or you might be a little bit more visual and you prefer watching a video, or maybe you prefer something being narrated to you. That's the VARK style. So it's for video learners, so for visual, A for audio, R for the read-write group, and the K for kinesthetic group. Everyone learns a little bit differently. So what we've done is we've blended that style into our training, which I'll be able to demo for you. So we're going to make sure that everybody's going to be appeased in terms of their learning style. The way we've created our lessons and our topics are in short bursts of information, so you'll be able to do training on the go. So you don't have to go through a 3 or 4 hour session to actually be able to retain and get results and be able to transfer that knowledge. You'll be able to do it in quite short periods of time. And that's where the blended learning piece comes in. So not only are you going to be able to use this course interactively, but you'll be able to work with your partner also with A2K to look at either some customized content or instructor-led learning. So let's take a look here. This is actually what a typical screen looks like. So here, what we have here, let's do a bit of a walkthrough. And if you guys remember, we were talking a little bit about how 95% of our learners retain more because of that combination of learning styles, that FARC style. So what we have here is a typical slide, and we're just going to walk through it really briefly. We can see here that we have a title to the slide. We have some contextual information here on the left relating to the slide. So we're talking about rotating, grouping, and arraying. So we have a little bit of information talking about that. We might have some interactive hotspots that when we're actually live in the training that we'll jump into in a moment that we'll be able to look at. So we could go ahead and click on it. We also have these interactive tiles that are available around the dialog box here on the left. And at the bottom, we actually have our navigation where we'll navigate through our course. So let's just do a quick overview of the different tiles that we have, the navigation bar, and then we'll actually go ahead and jump into the live training. So firstly, we have an eDemo tile. So if we go ahead and click that, it will actually go ahead and open up a new window, which is an eDemo video. And that eDemo video will be a short video, maybe usually about 2 to 4 minutes or so. Again, we want to try and keep everything in short bite-sized chunks. And again, that's a huge advantage in terms of learning. You'll be able to retain a lot more if you're watching a video that's maybe in that shorter period as opposed to watching a 15-minute video. I mean, we've all watched a 15-minute video and then imagine trying to retain all that knowledge. So we do it in shorter bite-sized chunks. Same thing with e-tips. If you go ahead and click on that, you're going to get a little pop-up with an e-tip. So it's a short little burst of information. The learn more is going to be a little bit more robust, where you'll get a little bit more info, a little bit more detail relating to the topic. There could be an image button, and then the let me try could be an exercise. So you'll actually be asked to open up a PDF, maybe download a little data set that will help you through that exercise. At the bottom, we have our navigation buttons where we can go forward and backwards through the training. We have our narration button where we can mute the audio. We have a couple of symbols we can look out for. So if there's been a change in a software for the version year, we can look for a little plus symbol, or if there's a critical slide or a critical topic that's going to be coming up for a certification exam, if that's something that's very important for you, you want to go for an Autodesk certification exam, this is something you would want to look out for as you are doing your training. Lastly, we have an option here to go ahead and access the help desk directly from the training itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and jump into a live demo for a couple minutes. So if you have any questions, especially if you're already a client and this is something you're already familiar with, but you do have a couple advanced questions, please take a couple notes because we'll go ahead and make sure to answer that at the end. Okay, so just give me a moment here and we are going to open our demo screen. Okay, so here we are. So this is now the login page that you're going to have access to as a learner. And for those that are already clients, this might look a little bit familiar for you. So what you'll do is you'll just go ahead and log in with your username and password. So let me just go ahead and do that right here. You do have the option for the Remember Me if you'd like to have faster login the next time you go in. Let's go ahead and log in and take a look to see what you're going to see as a learner as you log into the system. So firstly, you're going to see that it is a very simple dashboard. You're not going to be confused by too many links or too many things that are going on. There's literally 3 pieces to this page. And again, we want to try and keep it as simple and clean as possible so the learners will be able to maximize their time in the training. But we have this little top bar here. We have a little banner bar right in the middle that talks about some of the new releases that we have at Global eTraining. And where the magic really happens is a little bit lower here in the dashboard, where you have these 9 different tiles where learners will be able to access different critical parts of the training. We have 4 communication tiles here a little bit on the right. So you can see there's a little bit of a message board where learners can be contacted through the message board to inform them of updates, or administrators can be able to provide updates to their learners. So if you're an organization and you're the administrator for the organization and you'd like to communicate with your learners, you can actually do that internally using the system here. You won't need to go outside and use a separate email. We're going to talk a little bit about the learning management system a little bit later, but this is one of the handy little tools to communicate with your learners. There's a great little learner orientation, which will take the learners and walk through the basics of how to log in, a little bit what we're doing here today. And then we can see here there's a poll tile. Where we're going to focus a little bit more of our time here is these technical tiles here on the left, because I want you guys to see, again, not only are you getting access to the training, but you're getting access to significant support that's going to be able to help you guys maximize the training that your organization receives. So before we jump into my courses, we're just going to take a look at a couple others. We have a resources tile. I'll just click on that very briefly. And we have a whole host of different resources that are available. The one I'd like to highlight is going to be the plugin tool. So the plugin, all the details we have are available right here in the resources tab. We have a support tile. So if you guys remember, I mentioned that we do have a help desk support page that's going to be available 24/7 for you guys to be able to open up a ticket. If you have a question, if you have a concern, if you're stuck on a project and you need some instructor support, that's where you can lean on our subject matter experts. Now, they may not solve the problem for you, but they're definitely going to guide you in the right direction, especially if you're doing one of the exercises in the course. They're not going to give you the answer, but they are going to work through with you and help you. One of the other amazing pieces is the search tool. So again, we discussed that very briefly, but the search tool is going to allow you to look for something very specific within the training. So let's say curtain walls. Let's do a quick search, and you can see now it's actually going to search within the training to pull up all the examples of curtain walls. So not only do you have access to the training, access to support, you also have access to search. And again, this is all about what we call just-in-time training. You know, you're in the middle of a project, you're in the field, you're stuck, you have your smartphone on you, you really need an answer to some sort of technical question. Well, you can go to Google, you can go to YouTube, but the problem is you don't know the quality of what you're getting, you don't know the validity of what you're getting. Here, when you're actually accessing the training, you're getting industry-recognized courseware from our subject matter experts. So let's say you are in the field. Well, go ahead and click on that search tool. You'll very quickly be able to pull up that question and find where it is in the training. Now let's actually take a look at a course. This is why we're here. So as a learner, when you go ahead and log in, you can see here just, you know, as I'm doing the demonstration here today, I have access to quite a few different libraries as an administrator. But for you and your team, maybe you'll have access to the Autodesk library, and maybe you would also have access to the BIM library. So it could be our BIM 100 courses or our BIM Global Standard. For now, just for the purpose of the demo, I'm just going to very briefly jump into an Autodesk course. And I'll go ahead and select one of our 2018 courses and just give you a quick idea of what you're going to see when you log in as a learner. As a learner, I can also get an idea of the course before I jump in. I can take a look and see the course duration. I can see roughly this is about a 40-hour course with a nice little summary, and I can make sure that's the course I want to take. And yeah, absolutely, that is the course I'd like to take. So let me go ahead and select that course by clicking on it. It then takes me to the digital table of contents. And you can see here, I'm right away ready to begin my training. And very simply, I can go ahead and select either at the beginning, sort of work my way down if I'm a beginner learner. So if I'm brand new to the training, I might want to start at the top and work subject by subject or topic by topic. But for your advanced learners, maybe they'll want to jump in straight into surface modeling. So this is one of the huge advantages to the libraries that we have here available, is it can not only appeal to your new learners that are maybe brand new to the organization who've never used the software before, but it'll also be a reference tool for those who are advanced users who really don't want to go through the entire training. They just need a very specific question answered. So let's just go into surface modeling for an example. Let's go ahead and jump into that. And what you'll see now is that slide that I was demonstrating a little bit earlier, right? We have our dialog box with our different action tiles around here, and there can also be some filler images. It always starts with the learning objectives and outcomes, so sort of a key part to starting off your topic. So here's a great example of what you're going to see in a typical slide. We can see here there's a couple highlighted keywords here, and then we have a whole host of different options here that are available. To view the image, and then an image pops up. So this is going to be great for those visual learners. We have our tip here, so a little quick burst of information. And then we also have an eDemo that's available. And if I go ahead and click on the eDemo, it's going to open up a window. And it's going to take us to one of our videos. And all of our videos are hosted on a definition video site, so there's no downtime. The videos, like I said, are in short bite-sized chunks. We can see this video here. You may not hear the audio, that's okay. This is a 2 or 3 minute video, and we have it hosted by a subject matter expert in the bottom right-hand corner. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and close that. Now we can go ahead and jump back into the course, or we can go ahead and select something else. Now we can see here, I just wanted to show you guys, you can see how the symbol has changed from a triangle to a play pause button, which is just a great way to show you that, hey, this is a topic you started, please make sure to go ahead and continue it. So just a couple last few things that I think will be really relevant to you guys is that all of our courses also include quizzes. So halfway through a lecture, you'll find a quiz and then even a progress test. What's critical about this, if you guys remember in the model that we were talking about earlier, how do you get your learners to actually demonstrate that they've learned the product or the actual platform that they're studying? How do they demonstrate it? Well, they'll do it through their quizzes. So the great thing is, as an organization, you will be able to have administrative access to the back end of what we're looking at. So we call it the LMS control panel, or Learning Management System Control Panel. So every time a learner logs into the system, starts checking the training, starts logging in, starts accessing a different course, takes a quiz, you as administrators will have full visibility to be able to see how well they're doing, what they've been working on, and actually be able to get create reporting to get that full visibility to see the engagement on what's going on with the training. Lastly, we also have surveys that are built into the course halfway through near the end, and that'll also give you that feedback on the learners about maybe their feedback of how they enjoyed the course, where they felt they improved the most. Those are all pre-built into our courses that are available. So in terms of the platform, those are the key pieces that we have available. Again, available anywhere in the world. So the advantage is you don't have to send someone to a classroom. If you have an organization that's spread across multiple cities or continents, I mean, we have different companies that work across the globe, you can monitor and measure the training and make sure your learners actually have access to the training from anywhere. Again, they'll be able to do it. They just need an internet connection and some device to be able to access the internet. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to jump back into the presentation for a moment. And let's talk about the plugin. So very briefly, the plugin is what we talked about earlier, being able to take the training that we just demonstrated, but I did it in a browser, but taking it and actually installing it directly into the software. Now, we do have it available and compatible with very specific software, Autodesk software and version years. So you can take a look here on the right, that it is compatible with AutoCAD, Civil 3D, Plant 3D, Inventor, Revit, and Navisworks. So for those of you who are current clients and you don't have the plugin installed, do it. Install the plugin. It's a huge time saver. It's really going to be a huge advantage for your organization. So let me just go ahead and just do a very quick demonstration of the plugin. So here's, give me a moment. Now, one thing to note is that the plugin is compatible with the PC versions of Autodesk. So I'm currently running this through an emulator, so you might notice it just be a touch slower than normal, and also run a GoToWebinar, so it might even be a touch slower than normal there. But if you can take a look here, and again, feel free to make any notes of any questions you have, and we'll get to them for sure. But the plugin is installed. It lives in the add-ins in the software. I'm currently just using a 2016 version for this demo. And it lives in this palette box. It's fully dockable. You can really move it wherever you want on the screen. And for AutoCAD, I have 4 different versions of AutoCAD that are available for training for 2016, the 2D, 3D Advanced, and the new 4. And what I can do if I'm a learner, I can go ahead and take my training directly from within the software. So let's say I just want to go ahead and start the introduction to the training. I can go ahead and select what kind of training I'd like to do. Do I want to watch one of the videos talking about the intro? Do I want to watch something about the panning? But no, I'd just like to see the introductory slide. And you'll see a window pop up that will actually redirect you to your training. So we can see here that I can now have full navigation and I have full access to all the different parts of the training as if I was directly in the browser. One of the other things that's really exciting about the plugin also is that it interacts with the software too. So if you're in the ribbon and you decide, you know what, I need to know a little bit about arcs. Well, I'm going to click on that and the system will then start looking for arcs, and it'll start pulling up all the different various trainings that are available. So if you guys remember, it's a little bit like that search tool where we did that from the actual platform itself. We can almost do the same thing here by clicking on the system. So here on polyline and line. And if I still wanted to do the search, well, I can still do that. I can actually do that from within the plugin. So as you can see, by doing the training from within the software, just a huge savings in potential billable time while doing training while working on a project at the same time. So one of the other parts too, that just differentiates us from our competitors is something called the generator. So if this is new for everyone, just to give everyone a little bit of context and a little bit of background, what we were looking at, the different courses that were there, that structure that was there, we've actually opened that up to our partners and to our resellers, who then work with you as clients to customize the product and customize the training for you. So I'd just like you to take a moment to think about what that could mean for your organization. So look, we have this incredible award-winning library of preloaded content, so a massive Autodesk library, a BIM library, a Microsoft library. But what's important to your organization? Maybe it's HR related. Maybe you want to bring your HR documentation, or even a new hire. You want to bring your new hire manual, your new hire documentation into the 21st century. You want to create a course around it. You have your own content. You have your own videos. But you want to find a way to actually be able to have your learners, your employees, go through a very specific training and a very specific workflow. Well, you can actually work with your partner and reseller to create your own content and then compile it in the generator. It's really an incredible tool that will allow you, and again, it doesn't really matter by the industry or the product or the discipline, it's going to allow you to create your own custom learning path for your learners. Now, there are multiple different options available. Now, if there's something like maybe you might be interested in the Autodesk library, one of the courses, let's say a Civil 3D course, but you want to customize it very specific to your organization and the way you do a certain pathway, well, that's another option that you can definitely discuss with your partner and reseller that's available there. But imagine this ability to be...
I'll just jump in there and just add a little bit more to that. And one of the ways that A2K is really working is around, and why we've partnered with Globally, and we've built a great relationship, and we believe what their tool does is it's just how they're expanding on the flexibility, being that a lot of feedback from clients and customers that we've got is around how do we actually do this? We want to, people moving, once they've actually got the foundation of the tools that they want to use, then they actually want to go into more advanced or more specific needs for their organization and how you work in your workflows. So this is what's allowed us to actually, through this generator, is actually do customized training for people, but also then, because it's customized, you don't have something there. We've added it into we've created it into the generator, that then once the actual trainer leaves, you've got that as a referencing, or if not, and so many times it happens, is you pay for a skill set to come in and do some customized training, and then a month later, 2 months later, you get a new staff member, and then you're trying to actually bring them back up and get skilled up. This way, instead of them moving and working through some of their peers, they can actually jump straight onto the customized training to get up to a level that their other peers are in a quick, easy way. And instead of actually trying or going to the expense to get the trainer to come back out and redo the training specifically for that, or taking someone off project to upskill. So it's a fantastic tool, and that's how a lot of customers are actually looking at it now. So
perfect.
I thought I'd just add that.
That's great. Thank you very much. So definitely potentially a key piece for your organization. So feel free to have any questions ready at the end, and we can gladly go into it. So, and a little bit, to continue with what David was talking about. So, not only about being able to create that customized content relevant for your organization, and again, such a critical piece about making sure that it's not just institutionalized knowledge. There isn't that one person who just happens to know everything, and then if they leave the organization, they take all that with them. Building that into a generator or a custom course, like you said, you'll be able to have that available then for any of the new hires that come in at a later time, and it's not centralized in a single pipe or stovepipe. Now, that second part, though, is how are you going to be able to measure how engaged those learners actually are, whether it's in your customized training or the preloaded content? Well, that's where you can actually use our reporting tool to actually track engagement and the different adoption metrics. And it really depends on the KPIs that's going to be important for you. What may be important for one organization to track, maybe it's just the learners having logged in and access the training. That's might be their strategic goal, as opposed to another organization that really wants to ensure that everyone has completed topics 1, 4, and 5 in Civil 3D, something to that extent. So just to very briefly show you, we're going to log into the dashboard, and I would like to show you what that looks like. So here, we're going to switch gears to a slightly different screen. So this is not the front end, but if you guys remember what we were talking about, every time a learner logs into the front end and begins the training, it creates a little bit of a data point that's going to be available to the administrators of the organization to be able to access. So I'm going to go ahead and access with my demo account. Looks like my demo is not liking my login. There we go. And so we're just going to focus on the dashboard here. And I just wanted to give everyone a bit of an example of the different tools that you're going to have available to be able to report on the metrics that's, again, important for your organization. So very quickly, you'll get a snapshot on recent activity in the system. And you can see here, this is me, there I am, having logged in 7 minutes ago. So that was that course that I had logged into demo. So we can see here that you have full visibility on that. We can see here different course activity in the last 30 days. We can get some great learner statistics. And the nice thing too is that there's these pre-generated reports. So you don't have to worry about coding. You don't have to worry about being able to, do HTML or anything like that. Everything is available here for you in these pre-generated reports. It's very simple. You just click on the report that you'd like to view, and then it's going to generate whatever you customize in terms of that report. What we're very excited about also is for everyone who's on this webinar here, if you already have access to the LMS, or if you will be joining us in the near future, we will be actually doing an upgrade. So the LMS system is going to look a little bit different over the next few months, but we're very excited. It will be going to the next version that's going to allow some very robust reporting. So we're very excited by that. So that's the back end piece that gives you that visibility onto the engagement of your team and your learners. Okay. So just the last little piece that I wanted to introduce everyone to is, again, one of the next updates and what we currently have under development, which we're really excited by. The next step, sort of the next generation of our platform that we currently have under development, is the ability not only to create your own custom courses, so you can do that in the generator and have those available to your learners, but the next step is to be able to have custom learning paths by course. That could be two things. That could be administrators selecting for learners what are the specific topics they'd like them to only access in the course. It could be a learner making that option, making that selection, deciding that it's critical for them. And even more excitingly, it's, let's say they take a quiz and they fail a quiz, it will then drop that topic that's relevant into their learning path, making them almost as a mandatory that that's a topic they must complete. So we're really excited about that. We currently have it under development testing, and something we are looking to hopefully launch with our that we're looking to be able to provide. Pick and choose various topics from different courses and create your own custom one from pre-available content. So again, that's part of the process that we have under development. Now, the last piece that we do have that I want to talk about before we jump into the Q&A is, again, and I mentioned this sort of at the top of the webinar, is why globally training in A2K? Well, the part that comes down to, it's not just about the robust library, it's not about the award-winning technology, it's not about the plugin tool or what we currently have under development, but it's the actual time and the skill set of the teams that we have to work with your organization to implement this training and then maintain it over the year, or really over the time of the duration of the contract and partnership. Training, it can be a very shiny new toy, right? Everyone's excited, they have that new training, they jump in and go at it very robustly, and they're very engaged in the training for the first month or two. Well, very quickly that can taper off if you don't have consistent support and a very clear strategic implementation plan. So if you take a look on the screen, globally training with our CSMs and A2K, we go step by step through this entire wheel, everything from the strategic implementation plan, especially for larger organizations that really need to integrate multiple departments to ensure a successful launch, all the way through identifying what's important to your organization, to engagement, to the monitoring, to the branding, to giving you templates. And if you've never launched training before in your company, well, we're going to help you with that. We're going to provide you some templates to make that a simple process. So really what we take pride in, and honestly, I take personal pride in myself, because this is one of the key things that I do with globally training, is working to do successful implementations. So ultimately you end up getting and meeting your ROI or your criteria that you've set for the partnership. So thank you very much. A real pleasure to be here with you this morning. I'd like to open it up to the group here that's with us. If you have any questions, if you're a current customer, if you're a potential client and you're interested in a little bit more in any of the parts, Dave and myself would be thrilled to be able to help answer any questions. So I'll pass it back to David and open it to the group.
Thanks very much for that. So I just wanted to add one thing, that's an experience from a customer and why it's important around this type of learning. And you've seen some of the benefits around the plugins into the actual product that you're using, around that search tool, and it was mentioned around YouTube. And one experience, I was talking to a client, and they were wanting to learn how to specifically do a task within inside one of the Autodesk products. And talking to the actual end user, they were saying that they've spent over 60 hours on YouTube just to try and actually go through watching multiple videos on how to actually do something or bring themselves up to speed. And the big risk in that is around the quality assurance and just looking at it. And this is what you're actually getting with the Global E. But more importantly, it's in an actual format that is conducive to the best learning techniques that are in the industry, and you can actually rest assured that the training that you're actually getting is by qualified matter experts. So it's just one of those things that, you know, because we're in a stage or a time of information at your fingertips, and I've definitely used YouTube for different things on a personal level to look at what we can actually to learn something in Microsoft or something like that prior to actually getting the Global E. And I've gone through the Excel training. That's one of the modules on there. It's not just the Autodesk, and I wanted to upskill in the Excel, and the knowledge that I actually got on that and the time to actually obtain that knowledge was a lot faster than going to the YouTube and watching the how-to that a lot of people actually post, but I got it and it was specific around where I wanted to actually do, and I could actually pinpoint exactly what I wanted to learn in the around the Excel in that instance. And a lot of the feedback through from customers around the Autodesk side of things or any products they actually want to do, it's a great tool on how they actually do it, and they're seeing some differences there. You said about the 2019 versions being released. Have we got an actual rough date when the 2019 versions training modules will be released at all?
Yeah, it's a great question. We don't have a specific date, but what we try and do is within about 6 to 8 weeks after release, we like to have our first launch of the training out. So that's about the average, around 6 to 8 weeks after a new version of the software has been launched.
Okay, thanks for that. I'd just like to say thanks for attending. Hopefully it gives you a little bit more of an insight to Global E and what it actually capabilities are and what it can actually do, and hopefully it'll be able to be something that you can see that will actually help or enhance on what you're doing with inside your business. But again, appreciate your time and thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.